All right, what's up, how you guys doing? Welcome back. You already know videos as always. So you guys know we've been working on the 240, trying to get it back, or not get back, but trying to get it on the road ever since we've owned it. But it's been a long journey. Anyways, if you guys aren't caught up, this is my 5.3 liter V8 that I have for my 240. Obviously I've been refreshing everything on it: new water pump, oil pump, new LOJ oil pan, poly sniper, intake manifold, 102mm throttle body. This is what's going to be going in, and obviously we're going to match it to our Z32 NA transmission. As you guys saw previously in the videos, we did the LOJ conversion for it, LOJ bracket, everything included for this kit that he provides, which is very awesome. If any of you guys are trying to do a 240 swap to a LS and don't want to spend the money for a T56, this is the way to go. It's very cheap. I got this transmission for $400. But anyways, let's get to it. So today's agenda. What's up guys, how you guys doing? I'm gonna interrupt today's video from our sponsor, TRIGGZZ. TRIGGZZ makes high-grade industrial LED lights. You guys have probably seen them in my past videos when we updated the sheds and the new garage at the house with the laundry room as well. But they sent me two more style of their UFO lights is what we're calling. They kind of look like a sunflower, but these are water resistant, dust resistant, and UV resistant. Perfect for outdoor or indoor use. And I'm gonna show you guys how to hook these up. If you guys are interested, there's links in the description to get yourself some of these TRIGGZZ lights. So just to give you guys a reference, the super bright high bay light, 100 watt. This is how the packaging comes. Very nice. They sent me two of these, so we're gonna do this right now. All right, so I have our wiring already done from before. We have these U-clamp, which we're gonna be hooking them to. These lights do as well come with this metal string and a hook so you can wrap around for safety, which is very nice. But we got two of these. We have one over here we're gonna be doing and one over here. So let me mount these up and show you guys how it looks. So we got our first light installed, second light installed. So for reference of installation, we got the U-clamp, we got the hook on, the safety nut set so it doesn't go out. We got our safety rope wrapped around too, hooked to the U, and this is it. It looks very nice. So now we're gonna wait till it gets dark to show you guys a brightness test. Now it's getting pretty dark. Time to test these lights out. So here's the TRIGGZZ lights. This is how it looks now with the outside. Very nice and bright, very subtle lighting as well. Looks very good. I want to give a huge shout out to TRIGGZZ. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video. We got this whole shenanigan we gotta install. So we have our LOJ flywheel, we have our UPT stage 3 6-puck clutch. Shout out to Georgie, thank you my brother, always hooking me up. And then we have our LOJ conversion kit right here as well, everything included. So the adapter plate to be able to mount the transmission to the motor, all the hardware, pilot bushing, everything you need. So yeah, we're gonna begin this install obviously, and I'll show you guys step by step how to do it. There is an instruction manual that LOJ has on his site and provide, which shows you guys everything you need to do. But obviously, if you're like me, videos are much better for me as well. Just a heads up, before you guys begin this, your transmission, if you haven't serviced it yet, either of you have, block this stuff off. I did this before, but if you have an NA transmission, there's these like gaps right here that are lifted up. You're gonna need to shave them down. If you watch my trans video on this too, you'll see, but it needs to be shaven down, smooth into very flat, because if I'm not wrong, the NA models, that bump interferes with the flywheel. Obviously first, beforehand, if you haven't removed your old flywheel, you're gonna want to do that. Remove the bolts, everything. If you have a hard time removing it, you could thread in one of the engine bolts and use a wrench and to hold it with the flywheel so you can break those loose. That's our old flywheel right there. That's our box of old parts. But yeah, this is our new fatty, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this in. All right, so the first step, as the instruction manual says, we're gonna need to install our pilot bushing. Now the pilot bushing, this side needs to face out. If you got a car that had an automatic transmission, it's not gonna have one. If it's manual, you're gonna remove the old one. This new one, you just place right there, put a socket around it, hammer it in. And the instruction manual calls for this to be pointing out a little bit or flush with this. You don't want it more in. So I gotta get this hammered in. All right, that looks about right. You guys can see it's pretty much flush. Maybe one more tap, but this is how exactly you want it to look. Good way to measure too, if you have something like this that's straight. You don't want to line it. So you guys see there's that slight little gap right there. Flush, slight gap, flush. This is good.
Now you're done with this. Now next step, you guys see these 4 bolts for the rear cover. One by one, you're gonna need to remove one and install those 4 little Allen head bolts. The reason being is the flywheel is gonna touch these. So when you do the countersunk Allen style, it will sit flush. So next, one by one, remove these. As you remove one, install the new hardware into it, torque it to 18 foot-pounds, move on to the next one. All right, so our little bolts are removed. We installed the Allen head. Be careful with these. This is size 5, but if you go too hard, you will strip them. They're very fragile bolts, but you don't need to torque them that much. 18 foot-pounds, not that crazy. I went ahead and bolt marked all the bolts so we can see if they move later. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, guys. So now we're gonna move on to the flywheel. You have this spacer that came in the kit over there. So you're gonna need to use this. Obviously it lines up only one way. Out of habit, clean everything with brake fluid. So next we're gonna go ahead and use our ARP crank bolts now that we purchased from LOJ, if my camera focuses. So with these, there's a torquing sequence. ARP says you want it to be 85 foot-pounds, but from my research, the crank bolts, first you go to 15, then 35, then 60, then 85. So it gets evenly torqued all around. You want to do it like lug nuts, crisscross pattern. And then this hardware as well came with this ARP fastener assembly lubrication. This says to apply on the threads and the head of the bolt in the ARP instructions, and then it says also use Loctite 242, or you could always use this stuff too. Loctite 242 is red, so Permatex orange is a new version of automotive Loctite. What's cool is it locks like red, but if you ever need to break it loose, it breaks loose. Rather to, I don't know if you guys ever dealt with red Loctite, it is a nightmare to get off. So yeah, this is the best of the best. I recommend using this, but you have to use this on the bolts. So you want to apply it to the thread, apply some of the lube onto the heads of the bolt and some of the threads. Go ahead and put your flywheel on with the spacer and then begin tightening it down. First tighten everything down with a wrench and then move on to the 15, 35, 60, and then 85 foot-pounds. And this uses a 3/4 12-point socket for the ARP studs. So yeah, let's do that now. All right, so we got our flywheel on. Now the flywheel comes with these little dowel pins. There's 3 of them. You have Marco A and B. I found out that B is for 350Z clutches. So if you want to use a clutch, the clutch that Georgie provided me, the 6-buck, is a DE clutch. 350Z VQ DE. These are the ones you're gonna want to use because VHR doesn't use that style of throwout bearing. It uses a different system. DE uses this. So before we begin throwing the clutch on with some brake cleaner, you're gonna want to wipe down the surface of the pressure plate and then wipe down the surface of this. Sometimes there's oil just for shipping, etc. Put your dowel pins in the B mark for DE clutches. For Z32 clutches, I believe it's the A mark, and then you have all your holes. Obviously we have these ARP hardware that is exclusive to LOJ we're going to be using, and same thing, you could apply some of this, very little, and then thread locker as well. But yeah, let's get this on. And obviously the flat side is the pressure plates flywheel side. This side that has this lip is the pressure plate side, and then we have our alignment tool already installed. So let me see if I can do this one-handed, but pretty much if you line it up just like that, our clutch is in. You can leave this tool right here, and next you're gonna want to clean the surface. I didn't clean the surface, I just showed you guys, but clean the surface, put your clutch in, put your pressure plate in, go ahead and install it with the hardware. And I believe that on my notes the clutches go to 15 first and then 30 foot-pounds. Alright, so now that the clutch is in and we got everything installed, I went ahead and picked up the plate to put on. It's pretty much you slide it over the bottom and then put it on, because it does have like this little shield area right here. And for the hardware, so pretty much the 4 gold hardware that you see right there, you're gonna use those for here, 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 and here. And then for these countersunk holes, you're gonna use these black style bolts. So on this car, obviously the oil pan is front sump, so these two bottom ports you don't use anything on. So no washers for these either. But yeah, like I said, just slide it through. Make sure dowel pins are in nice and cool. Hand tighten everything first, then torque it to 45 to 50 foot-pounds. We'll probably just end up doing 45. All right, so pretty much we got all the bolts in, guys, like we were talking about. How it showed you guys right here, right there, all of these, all torqued to 45 foot-pounds, marked and aligned. So pretty much the next thing you're gonna want to do is now you can bolt up your transmission. So these bolts for the transmission, if my little chair slides, I went ahead, already threaded them into the plate once to make sure it fits, but you guys can see I wrote top. So the 4 same size bolts go to the top. The bottom uses 1 small bolt, 1 long bolt, and 1 super small Allen bolt. The Allen bolt, it was missing a washer and spring washer. It's all good, I used my own, but yeah, that Allen bolt's to clear the slave. Super long bolt, shorter bolt, and then all 4 the same size. And so we have our trans on like this little cart with the wood so it doesn't teeter. This is the last time you're gonna see this outside, obviously. Go ahead and inspect everything, make sure everything is installed good, everything is nice and correct. Apply a little bit of grease here, very little, nothing crazy. Our trans is shaved, as you guys saw. We'll have to check the clearance when we throw it on. But yeah, so the bolt holes are right there, there, and there. And then at the bottom is right there, and then that's the Allen bolt right there. And then if your trans has the dowel pins that go right here, you can slide it into the plate right here, but we don't obviously have the dowel pins on ours. I'm not gonna order it. So yeah, pretty much your next step is to grease this little guy up a little bit, and then go ahead and push this over and get it inside, and make sure you remove this because it will not go in if this is in there. Yeah, let's do that now. I finally got it to clear and bolted it up. Sorry, I was doing this by myself, so I couldn't record it, but all our bolts are in. Now it's time to get this torqued. Looks amazing. LOJ kit made it so easy. Everything works nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything looks good. So now we have to torque it. Size 17s. The Allen, and so torque for these guys to 45 to 50 foot-pounds. And I already spun the motor as well, so we can go ahead and see. But you guys see the flywheel is very close to that area, so that's what you want to shave. I used the caliper to measure it, and it seems 6 millimeters was what it was. 6.5 or 7 millimeters clears it for the thickness of this guy right here. You want it to be 6.5 to 7, so it clears. But yeah, everything looks good. Now we can go ahead and finish torquing this down. But pretty much after that, your install is finished, and you can now begin throwing this into the car. Before you guys do that too, when you want to install it, you're gonna need to remove this bracket and this shifter assembly in order to be able to get this inside the car. But yeah, it looks amazing. Super happy with it. Anyways, I hope this video helps at least one of you guys out who are trying to do the swap, because there's no videos out there on this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is it. Looking fabulous.